So, as I'm sure most of you know, Diana V2 released not long ago. And as of recording this video, Diana is currently in office with 4 perks. But no, today is not time to actually do Diana. It's time to very wisely invest. Well, that's one way to put it. You see, what I find very interesting is that Chimera books are down at around about 45 mil. Pretty much the lowest they've ever been, and sure, they might even drop further in the coming days. Well, that made me think, what if we take the most powerful weapon on the game and put the most powerful enchant in the game on it? Now, I can already see people in the comments angry, bashing the keyboards. I know it's not meta. The whole point of Hyperion is to spam, and of course, Ultimate Wise is ideal for that. You know, it halves the mana consumption. So to be completely honest, I know that, and I don't really care. I know that one of the only real uses for a Chimera Hyperion is Master Mode 4/7, and to be honest, not something that I ever intend on actually doing. However, because of Diana, and because of the current prices of Chimera, I thought it would just be funny to go ahead and test it out. Not in Master Mode 4/7, but just with everyday uses. So if you're going to get angry, you can consider this a rage bait. Now, to free up some coins, I've been selling a few skins that I had laying around. Nice. And honestly, I'm just kind of curious, if I actually put an offer up, will any of these actually fill? I don't want to wait too long, so I'm just kind of curious, let's see. Let's give it a few minutes. Only 686 mil for a Chimera 5, which is insane. While we wait for our buy order to maybe fill, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS as it gets yourself 5% off. If you watch the videos and you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so. You should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer Slayers and Dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. Okay, I'm not going to lie, I've always wanted to test out a Chimera Hype, just for regular purposes. Just because I thought it would be funny, but I've never really wanted to spend over 1 billion coins. Sure, it's still 700 mil. Alright, I don't think they're filling, I'm just going to insta-buy. Is there going to be enough supply in the bazaar? Oh, yes, there is. Oh, yes, there is. Well, what do we have here? Well, I really don't want to mess this up. That would be kind of tragic. Okay, well, I think we escaped unscathed. Oh, yes, Chimera 5. Let's get this applied to the Hyperion. Well, here we go. It was Ultimate Wise, and it's now going to be Chimera. Shortly. Okay, now we have XP. Well, yeah, I don't know about this. Alright, well, maybe we should talk a little bit about Chimera and what it does. It copies your active pet stats. So whatever stats your pet has that's active, it doubles it. Now, a G-Drag is already very, very overpowered as it is. So you would think that this is about to be insane. So I've just realised in my absolute peak stupidity, I forgot to damage test before putting Chimera on the Hyperion. I have no words, to be honest. Yeah. Because it's kind of great to say, oh yeah, look, I'm doing 3 million damage to these zombies. Now, I know previously I wasn't doing 3 million damage. I know that with certainty. I think it was probably closer to maybe 2.5 million or 2.4 million. But, yeah. Big brain moves, let's see. Anyway, you just have to believe what I'm saying. But for me, 3 million damage on a Hyperion, 3.1 million is very, very high. Probably a damage increase of by 20%, if I was to estimate. But at what cost? At what cost? Our mana cost is now 270 every time we right-click. And with just shy of 6,000 mana, yeah, my mana is going to deplete pretty quickly. Now, I am going to go ahead and test it, but just thinking about it logically before we do that, 20% more damage against 50% more mana consumption. It's fine maybe if you just want to kill a few mobs, but anything that takes a lot of hits, you might come into issues, which we're probably going to see soon. Alright, well, I'm going to head over to Blade Soul. Oh my god, the explosions are crazy. I want to see just how quickly we run out of mana. I'm not going to put an Overflux down. I'm not going to put a Flare down. Nothing like that. I just want to see how quickly this mana actually... Okay, we already have no mana. Okay, this might not have been meta. This was only 700 mil. Don't worry, guys. You know, don't regret my decisions or anything like that. Okay, watching this video back, the explosions are crazy because this is a relatively new mod profile and I haven't turned explosions off in the Minecraft settings, so you're just going to have to deal with it. Well, I've put a 700 mil enchantment on a weapon and it somehow made it worse. Now let me find my SOS Flare. What are your thoughts on my chests? I think they're organised pretty well. Huh. That is a good question. Where is my SOS Flare? Is it in the museum? Ah, yes. Alright, let's do the smart move and let's put an SOS Flare down first. And now let's try and kill Blade Soul. Let's see how terribly this still goes. Yep. I mean, I did die then. My bad for not actually jumping over there with the heads. Okay, one last try. SOS Flare does give us a lot of base mana regen, so hopefully he can carry us. Okay, let's try this again. SOS Flare is already placed. Let's just try not to die. Okay, now we're getting help. Okay, and we've already run out of mana. It indeed did not carry. I can confirm. I'm really trying to rack my brains to think if there is an actual proper valid justification for putting Chimera 5 on a hype outside of M7. But I don't really know when 20-ish% more damage on a hype is really that useful, especially if you've already got an implosion belt on. And honestly, I'm just guessing it might be less than a 20% damage increase. But this is my way of trying to cope for the 700 mil loss. Right, no, let's go about this a different way, okay? The G-Drag's just not... It's not going to be, you know, it's not going to be meta for the Chime 5 hype. How about we use a different pet and try and make it meta? I'll let you know in advance. This was not true and did not work. And as you can see by my interest in pet menu, it would probably include buying a new pet. Now, the good thing about pet is it will reduce the mana cost of our abilities by 20%, so we're going to recover a little bit in that sense. It's already given us plus 20% ability damage, which would go to 40, which isn't bad. This has clearly got to be the meta. Okay, so to the zombies in the hub, we dealt between 3 and 3.1 million damage. On the higher end of 3 million, close to 3.1 mil damage with the G-Drag. First of all, with the sheep, we're getting close to 6.2k mana, which is better. How about damage though? This should be interesting. Oh wow, turns out the G-Drag carries crazily in damage. Oh yeah. Oh, G-Drag is meta. However, on the other hand, Chimera 5 and Hyperion is not meta. Well, who would have thought you had to watch this video to come to that verdict? Alright, so what I'm actually going to do, just to, it's not even trying to find a use for this combination at this point, because Chimera 5 on a hype is not worth it. But I just want to test something else to try and just do a crazy amount of damage. I'm going to just go ahead and buy an Antiques Remedies and put it on the G-Drag, because for some reason I still have a turtle helmet on. I don't know why. Now, I was going to buy the upgraded version to the Antique Remedies. However, there's none on the AH, and I could go ahead and buy it, or basically get it myself. I don't think it's meta though, I'm not going to lie, it's very expensive at the moment. Now my thinking is this is going to increase our strengths pet by 80%, and of course with Chimera that's doubling our pet stats, which is going to be an exponential increase. So let's just go ahead and do that. And then if we go ahead and take our Ragax, or, well, I guess it's not a Ragax anymore. That's also going to give us a lot of strength. I just want to see how much damage we could actually potentially do with a right click on the Hyperion. And of course it could be more if we had the upgraded version of the Antique Remedies. And previously we were dealing around about 3 to 3.1 million damage. Now if we use our Ragax, and then go ahead and use our Chimera Hyperion, we deal less damage. We need stacks. Let's test this again. Okay. I'm glad I didn't buy the upgraded version to Antique Remedies, because this was not meta. It barely affected our damage at all. The cope did not work, and the Chimera Hyperion is still not great. Now from what I've heard, Chimera Hype might actually be good as well for killing lava fish and sea creatures. I guess because they have, well, they're relatively healthy. But I've got to be honest, the complete and utter nerf in the mana department, or at least the mana consumption department, doesn't seem worth it at all, no matter which way I look at it when you're using it for right click. Now, I have to be honest, the biggest issue with this weapon combo, using it as a regular right click weapon, is the fact that, you know, at what point do you actually need to deal so much damage right clicking with the Hyperion? I don't think there's many actual applications for it, and per that with actively debuffing yourself by less mana, it can't really make too much sense. Because most of the tasks that you use a Hyperion for with right-click damage, the good thing about the Hyperion is that you're able to spam, and spam a lot and not really run out of mana. Compare this to something like a Midas Staff, where you can only hit once every second. The whole point of the Hyperion is to be able to spam a lot. And when you basically reduce that ability to the point where you can't spam a lot because you don't have enough mana to. Obviously, it depends on what you're doing. It actually makes the weapon worse. Even though it does do that little bit more damage. It's just not worth it at all. Like, it really isn't. So as it turns out, like I said before, adding a 700 million coin enchantment to any old weapon isn't always the best idea. And pretty much for that reason is why I've decided to put Ultimate Wise back on the Hyperion. Well, that was quite something. And ultimately, to be completely honest, I didn't really need to go ahead and buy Chimera and put it on the Hyperion to tell you what I've already told you in this video. But considering, you know, Chimera was so cheap, I just thought it would be funny to do so. So I guess if you can take one thing from this video, definitely put Chimera 5 on your Hyperion. Especially if you're only going to use it for right-click purposes. Trust, like I've showed you, it's meta. Considering a fully scrolled Hyperion is 1.4 billion, and Chimera 5 was over 700 million, meaning that a Chimera 5 fully scrolled Hyperion is 2.1 billion coins. I mean, it's only pixels on your screen at the end of the day, you can always earn more of them. Anyway, that's going to be all for today. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.